I am Jocelyn Aspa from the Investing News Network. Joining me today is Bala Yogesh, our technology reporter, who is going to give us a look back on the biggest trends that happened in tech last month. Thanks for joining me today, Yogesh.
Thank you, Jocelyn.
All right, can you give us an update on what happened with some of the biggest tech companies last month?
So the big news stories in the technology sector came from the two big social networking giants, Twitter and Facebook. Facebook in particular lost 120 billion in market cap following its second quarter results. More than the results, it's the earnings call that impacted their stock. We learned that the Facebook's user base growth in North America has completely stalled, and with the introduction of GDPR, it has completely impacted its user base over there as well. So Facebook took much of a burn, and similar fate awaited Twitter, with the stock losing 20% following its earnings result.
Moving over to clean tech, there's always lots going on in that space, both in Canada and the US. So what, in your eyes, was the biggest news that happened in that sector for both countries last month?
So the major news in the clean tech sector came from the Ontario, with the newly appointed Premier Doug Ford winding down 750 renewable energy contracts. What it does is, like, it not only impacted one particular company, it impacted so many stocks, and we even have an article on Investing News Network highlighting the numerous stocks that got impacted by the move. It all started by the firing of the entire board of Hydro One. The stock took much of a burn, and over the next few days, more stocks got impacted as well. Later in the month, we saw a United States company, Alliant Energy, along with its partner Nextra Energy, winding down the nuclear plant in United States. This is in favor of renewable energy. So those are the big clean tech news from the month.
Moving over to cybersecurity, can you give us an update on what happened in that sector?
So the big news story in the cybersecurity space came from the United States. Just because cybersecurity has never been a focus over there, but in the next fiscal year, we could see cybersecurity being a bulk of a focus over there. With the introduction of the National Defense Authorization Act, cybersecurity is being put in the right place. This comes after numerous allegations against Russia impacting the previous elections. So with the NDAA of fiscal 2019, we could see United States taking a firm action against any country that's impacting the democracy of the country. So that's one big cybersecurity update. Moving on to institutions, we saw a company called FISSERV who are partnering with Blue Voyant to launch a cybersecurity solutions for banks. This is mainly because banks are facing numerous challenges with regards to cybersecurity talent or the lack of it. So this solution is going to help the banks and other institutions who are going to take advantage of it.
Moving over to graphene, whenever news happens, it's always good to cover. So can you give us a breakdown on what caught your eye for graphene last month and why we should know about this news?
We have two exciting news in graphene. The first one is from Australia, where we have a company called First Graphene who will be supplying graphene for testing its suitability as a cooling product. This is exciting because the company said graphene as a nanofluid is more effective than any other form of fluid being used for the cooling purpose. So this is something that's exciting. Moving on to a second story, it's from Canada with a company called Nano Explore who are trying to build a largest graphene production plant. The company launched a project feasibility study, which was positive as compared to the preliminary study that they conducted. The company said that the project study highlighted numerous improvements. Upon completion of the project, we're going to see 10,000 metric tons being produced in graphene.
That wraps up our July look back for the technology sector. For the Investing News Network, I'm Jocelyn Aspa.
And I'm Bala Yogesh.
And make sure to follow us on Twitter at INN_technology and on LinkedIn at Investing News Network. Stay tuned for August update next month.